Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We know that Sega has been pushing to make Sonic more competitive with longtime rival and Nintendo mascot Mario over the last couple of years. Now this may sound laughable to many, but it is a noble and important goal for Sega. They may never surpass Mario, but the idea of relentlessly pursuing one of the biggest franchises ever, trying to make each title better than the last and make them even more popular than ever, it's a good idea. I mean, who doesn't love the sound of that? And Sega has truly found something in these past 5 years for Sonic as a franchise. Today I want to examine what we have seen so far and take a peek in what's to come, because I'll be honest with you, there's a clear pattern going on here, and we just had the biggest confirmation that yes, Sonic is competing with Mario again, seriously, just recently. But before we get into that, let's just summarize how we got here. So in the 2020s, Sonic has revived its franchise and pushed it to new heights. The Sonic movies, games, and assorted media are all doing excellent, better than ever, and yet they are still not quite on par with Mario. Mario is, of course, the king of platformers and mascots. In fact, there's kind of a big gap between Mario and Sonic as it stands right now, but that gap is getting closed quicker than you think. Let's start with the movies. The Sonic franchise kicked things off well before the Mario movie released. They had 2 box office hits with Sonic 1 and 2, and seeing that success, of course, wanting to leverage Mario any way they can, Nintendo decided to join the fold. Now, I don't know if Nintendo saw the Sonic movies and said, hey, let's do that too, but you gotta figure that factored into the math. And so it was, Nintendo brought the Italian plumber to Hollywood, and critics for some reason didn't like the movie as much as I thought they would. Considering how much they love the games, you'd think they'd like the movie too, but that's not how it went. But who cares? The movie was fantastic and fans raved over it so much. It made $1 billion, setting the record for a video game movie in profits at the box office. So yeah, the Mario movie was a $1 billion awesome movie, which is insane but also not surprising because it's Mario. So how did Sonic respond? Well, they dropped by far the coolest video game movie of all time with Sonic 3, featuring Shadow the Hedgehog. And I gotta be honest, this movie is basically a love letter to anybody, including myself, who loves Sonic Adventure 2. It's basically a one-to-one of Sonic Adventure 2. There's some details that are missing, but overall, it is literally retelling the story of how Shadow became Shadow. And the movie went on to be the second best-selling video game movie ever, along with the best-selling Sonic movie of all time, until Minecraft took over the world, and now that is the second best-selling movie, and somehow Sonic is third. A respectable third, but to be fair, I think most people would rate the Sonic 3 movie as a better movie than Minecraft, even though Minecraft has made so much money, I don't even know how. And I kind of like the Minecraft movie, but it's insane. In any case, Mario and Sonic have both successfully taken to Hollywood, with both of their adaptations doing fantastic. And they will be competing there for the foreseeable future. And who knows, maybe a crossover could happen at some point, you never know. Video game wise, Sega has been very shrewd about Sonic's release dates, and that's the thing you gotta focus on when you're talking about Mario vs. Sonic. So Sonic Frontiers dropped November 8th, 2022, all by itself with no 3D Mario game in sight. This game ended up being the best-selling 3D Sonic ever. Pretty good bounce back after Sonic Forces. But Frontiers did more than just bounce the video game series back, it bounced Sega's confidence back. After that, Sega went on to announce the return of the Dreamcast Energy and is trying to be the rock and roll of gaming again. It's going well so far, but to talk specifically about Sonic, their confidence got so high they actually ego challenged Mario. Because in 2023, Sonic Superstars released very close to Mario Wonder. I made a video about that when it dropped, so go check that out if you're interested, but everyone who was talking about this was saying it felt like the 90s again, because Sonic and Mario were going head-to-head with 2D platformers coming out basically at the same time. And Sega, come on, be serious. You had all year to pick a release window for Sonic Superstars. You just so happened to pick the window that's Mario Wonder's window? Come on. I'm not buying that was a coincidence. That was definitely planned. Now, in terms of Sonic Superstars versus Mario Wonder, it was not close. Mario Wonder was a grand slam, and Sonic Superstars, for all intents and purposes, was a flop. Now, to be fair, Sonic Superstars honestly had no business ego challenging Mario like that. It really was never going to work out well, especially considering how the games actually came out. Sonic Superstars didn't have a lot of content, and Mario Wonder had much more content, so I'm not really sure what Sega was thinking there. They probably should have made Sonic Mania 2 if they wanted to go up against Mario Wonder. That probably would have done better, but regardless, I respect the confidence. But yeah, Sonic Superstars was no Sonic Mania, and that was probably its biggest crime. But once again, respect to Sega for trying it though, and if there is a lesson to be learned, it is this. Maybe we should do a Sonic Mania successor, but also keep going. Don't just let a bad release convince you that you should stay away from Mario. Keep chasing after it. Now moving past that, we have another instance of Sega aligning somewhat with Nintendo. Last year, Nintendo released a big remake that fans were clamoring for, which was Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, and that game, to me, is the greatest Mario game ever. So you can imagine how happy I was that it came to Nintendo Switch. But hold on a second. I'm pretty sure Sega released something that was a remake that fans were pretty happy about too. Oh yeah, Sonic X Shadow Generations, which is half a remake of Sonic Generations, a game that people love. And then it also added on content, which is Shadow Generations. And even if you don't think, okay, Paper Mario is an RPG, Sonic Generations is 3D, plus Shadow Generations is 3D, so it's not really a fair comparison. Okay, maybe you're right. Maybe comparing Paper Mario and Sonic X Shadow Generations is a bit of a reach. But what if I said let's compare Sonic X Shadow Generations to Mario World plus Bowser's Fury? Is that a fair comparison? Because they're literally the same thing, even down to the menu. The menu looks the same. So yeah, even if you don't think the remake with Paper Mario is not a coincidence or kind of a reach, you can't deny that this is definitely their version of Bowser's Fury. And by the way, Sonic X Shadow Generations did amazing, selling over 2.5 million copies. Or I think it was 2 million copies. Regardless, it's pretty impressive. But okay, alright, look, maybe all of that is reaching. Maybe I'm coming up with things out of my head to try and make it, this could be headcanon. This could be headcanon. Except no way, it is definitely not headcanon, because at the Summer Games Fest, we had confirmation. Okay, so Mario Kart World is out in the wild, and it's a fantastic game, by the way, for the Nintendo Switch 2. If you haven't played it because you don't have a Nintendo Switch 2, I highly recommend you get a Nintendo Switch 2 and then play it. But hold on a second, is Mario Kart World the only kart racing game coming out this year? Oh wow, look, it's Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. That's coming out the same year as Mario Kart World. So, just to do a little recap here, 2D Sonic came out when 2D Mario came out. Sega had a remake coming out the year that Nintendo had a remake coming out. And then now, there are two kart racing games from Sega and Nintendo coming out in the same year. And to be honest with you, coming out within a couple of months of each other, because Sonic Racing is coming out in September and Mario World is out in June. So that's not too big a gap between the two games. Read the room. Sega is trying to give Nintendo competition. And look, if you don't believe me, check this out. Takashi Iizuka took a harmless but clear shot at Mario Kart World during the Summer Games Fest show. And that's a good thing. The crowd cheered for it. Iron sharpens iron. We have to start praising competition. So here we are looking ahead past Sonic Racing Cross Worlds and Mario Kart World to 2026, because it is the 40th anniversary this year of the Super Mario franchise. And you have to expect that a 3D Mario game is going to be announced at the September Direct, because in September, that is the actual date of the 40th anniversary. No chance they actually release a 3D Mario game at that point, but if they were to, announce a new Mario baseball game and then tease the next 3D Mario, that would definitely give fans a lot of, satisfaction for the 40th anniversary. Maybe even re-releasing 3D All-Stars again for people who didn't actually pick up a copy. But you know what else is coming up too? In 2026, it is the 35th anniversary of Sonic. And yes, there are rumors that, take with a grain of salt, that Sonic Frontiers 2, or whatever the next 3D Sonic game, is coming out in November of 2026. You see what's going on here? The next 3D Mario game, 100%, and you can bookmark this, is coming out in 2026. And the next 3D Sonic game, 100%, you can bookmark this, is coming out in 2026. Yes, Sega is going to challenge 3D Mario. Now, this obviously seems like a ridiculous idea, because 3D Mario is 3D Mario. It is great. groundbreaking, it sells copies like nobody's ever heard of, and yet Sega should totally do this. It's a ballsy move, but it's the right move. 3D Sonic was the best-selling Sonic with Sonic Frontiers, and if you were to master that formula, the open zone formula, add so much good content and really push the series into the next level, the next generation, I don't think Sonic 3D is going to surpass Mario 3D next year, but I think it's going to be a rivalry. I think it's going to have enough chatter in Sonic's favor that it's going to be worth it. So if it actually comes down to it where Sonic 3D and Mario 3D are releasing in the same year and both games do well, you can consider this rivalry in full steam ahead. Now look, the truth is Sonic may never surpass Mario. Maybe that's not Sonic's role. Maybe Sonic's role is just to keep Mario honest, to provide good competition but never win. And honestly, I'd be okay with that. Ultimately, I just want Sonic to keep getting better and better, and I like the rivalry because it makes them better and better. So keep running down that Italian plumber as best you can. You may never pass him, but trust me, you will get so much better actually trying to improve your franchise in order to chase him down. And who knows, one day maybe you will get the edge on him, because at one point or another, even if it was back in the 90s on the Sega Genesis, yeah, Sonic did have a step on Mario for at least a little bit. But what do you guys think though? Is Sonic capable of passing Mario in anything? Let me know in the comment section down below, and thank you for checking out this video. Hope to see you guys in the next one, but until then, peace.